Hi. Aren't we supposed to be signing in?
Yes, I saw it. Can you sign in?
I signed in, but I see a meeting going on already, and I'm thinking, am I in the wrong meeting?
You see a meeting going on?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Do you see people at the table?
Yes.
It's a smaller room. So that's probably what you're seeing.
It says Albany 99 11 12. And then
That's us.
that's us?
Yep.
And then there's another one that says Albany 99 11 35, and no one's at that side.
Yep. So that's my overflow room.
Okay.
I just saw you on there. So
You saw me? Okay.
I'm walking there right now. But unfortunately, in this building, the 505 where we used to go, the equipment broke. So now we're in this 1112, and it's so small. That's why we do the overflow room.
Okay, I just want to be sure.
I see you.
You see me? Okay. So I can, and I have a couple of people outside already,
Okay.
so I can bring them in now?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not hearing what's going on your side, though. I don't hear
No,
it.
probably not yet.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, then. Thank you, Janet.
Hello, how are you?
All right, how are you?
Very good, thank you. It's old, but it's good. Can't kill that thing.
Okay.
Big as a box, but
These phones are becoming big as boxes all over again.
yeah, remember when they were small, and the smaller the better,
Yeah.
and now it's like,
They're getting bigger again. So.
I tell you, I did my cataracts a couple of years ago, and for an upcharge, you can get prescription cataract lenses. And the doctor was saying it won't be long before they'll start doing all kinds of funky stuff
Yeah.
with the lenses. I said, you know what, I'll wait until they get there. So how have you been?
All right, yourself?
Very good, thank you.
Good.
Missed the last couple of meetings. Had more neck surgery in June. The last meeting, did they speak any more about?
Michael,
Are we on?
Yes.
your mic is live. We're going to go on mute until we're starting.
Okay, we'll
How
put
do
you
we,
up.
how do we mute it? Up here.
Yes.
Hello, Buffalo. Can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear you now. For whatever reason, we had another meeting logged us in on their site.
All right. I see Bill. Do I see Dom too? Is Dom Marinelli out there?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. All right. New York, Michael stepped out of the room for a second there.
Yes, he'll be right back.
All right. We have 10. So Michael can step back in. Get started. Stenographer's ready. Awesome. Yes. 9 is what we need, so let's go. Good morning. It is still morning. Good morning, everyone.
Very much.
The
Morning.
third meeting of the New York State Fire Prevention Building Code Council for 2018. It is October 22nd, 2018 at 11:13 in the morning. We have all sites on the screen, so I will say let's get started, and I'll ask Gerard to call the roll for quorum.
Okay. Designee for Secretary Rosado, Matt Tebow.
I'm here.
Designee Paul Martin for State Fire Administrator Francis Neary.
Here.
Mike Weber for DHCR Commissioner Ruth Ann Visnaskis.
Present.
Vincent Rappuccillo, Commissioner Robert Rubin. Keith Wentz, designee of Bill de Blasio.
Here.
Michael Sabatino, Jr. I'll come back to him. Sean Hamlin.
Here.
Tim Bruscher.
Here.
William Tyne.
Here.
Dominic Marinelli.
Here.
Okay, that is 9. That's a quorum. And step back.
Okay, we have a quorum. First item on the agenda is the welcome. I just have one note today. You probably can't see from the screen because I can't see him either, but Joe Ball is to my left and acting as counsel again, likely for the next couple of meetings, as Peniota has gone on extended leave. Moving on. The minutes of August 13, 2018, you should have received them in your packet on Friday or Saturday, depending on late emails. We'll take that up by voice vote. Is there any questions or comments, changes that need to be made to those minutes? All right. Hearing none, I'll move to adopt the minutes of August 13, 2018. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? The minutes of August 13, 2018 are adopted. All right, moving on. Agenda item 3. Call upon Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff's going to this is the progress report on the Uniform Code and any discussion of the issue. Jeff.
All received the memorandum that was sent to you. It was a quick summary of some of the documents that we provided with you. We do apologize for the late email getting a lot of information landing at once. But we do encourage you to take a look at that over the next period until the next meeting, and please do make comment on that in the interim. Some of the things that you received, we took and summarized the notable changes in the actual supplement itself, so you could have a side-by-side comparison of today's supplement and the potential next supplement. Help see those changes. We also provide you with a current red line version that shows all of the changes that we have made. Tried to call out in that table what appear to be notable changes, and then the whole document is there for you. Some of those that we want to call attention to. In the carbon monoxide detection systems, that section underwent restructuring. primarily, and if you have any questions on that, Nick has worked very hard on that and can give you. Appendix E was, the IRC was revised to help bring distinction to locate manufactured housing. We also gave you an updated IFC notable change table. We had a few items on there that needed some revision based on comments. Those are called out in your memo. And we also provided you with a red line draft of the energy code supplement. There is no notable table with that one, as there wasn't a lot of notable changes that have occurred in the IECC. So the red line is there. If you see something and have any comments or questions, please feel free to ask.
Nick, anything to add?
Just any time during the period, leading up to the next meeting, as you're reviewing this, if you have comments, proposals, anything to bring forward, go ahead and send them in.
Also, I would just like one of you to run through the schedule, the tentative schedule to adoption, just so it's great. I do this every time, just so everyone's sort of in that mind of thinking. And so, Nick, you want to do it?
Yep. So hopefully within the coming formal road development is.
What's going on with the audio?
I know that mic keeps stopping up.
Do they know that?
No, I got that. I believe the next co-council meeting is December 5th. And so at that meeting, public comments from the public, assess them, whatever might be necessary to supplement and present it to
Okay.
the
We're having trouble with the audio.
Oh, it's because it's at this end of the table.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so at the December meeting, you will have the updated supplement based on public comment. You'll have the opportunity to take a look through it in detail and see what changes you like, what changes you don't like, and then make comment on it. Because at the following co-council meeting, I believe in December, we'd want a more or less a more composite uniform code. Hopefully at that point, we'd be really close to the final version of what you might want to see. And then I believe we'd be proposing to submit to the state register a notice of proposed rulemaking by about mid-February. And that rulemaking will appear in the state register by about beginning of March. And if everything goes well, that will put us on an effective date of about October 2019 for the Uniform Code and for the Energy Code to be fully in effect.
Could you just let us know how far in advance will we get these? I know everyone has busy schedules, but we get the agenda items with the details, and we have very little time to review them. So I would just ask that whatever material we have for our meetings going forward, if you could just do your best to get them to us a little sooner, that would be very helpful.
They can't hear me, so I'll say fair enough.
Oh, yes. Put that one.
So yeah, we would endeavor to do that. At this point, I think the plan is second week in November to put out the notice of rule and development. That's an informal process to get feedback from stakeholders and others. We put it out, in a public fashion. But I think at that point we would be sending that proposed document to the council.
Yes.
So you will have that 4 weeks ahead of the next meeting.
Okay, great, thank you.
I think now's probably the best time. We're starting to get in, and we'll talk about the comment period, getting comments from stakeholders from the outside on different issues. I think now would probably be a good time if anyone on the council has issues that they want to bring up, want to discuss. Good to start that discussion process, and we'll continue whatever comes in December. Tim.
Just from a clarity standpoint, I would like, the supplement's very big, and I think a lot of people see that. There's a lot of information in there. and it seems there's two different pieces. There's a lot of the changes in the supplement based upon other laws in the state, other legal requirements that are already in play that we really don't have any option to change. That's just the way it is. But then there's a number of other changes that are in there that are not regulated specifically by other laws. I would like to see in the supplement, the next piece, if you would, what sections, whichever is the easiest way to show it, I'm not sure, which sections are we proposing to change or are changed from the 2018 books just because of this council compared to the items that are regulatorily driven. Example, CO alarms, carbon monoxide alarms are another regulatory provision. Some other change in, I don't have the section right here, that might be an ICC change that we're wanting to use that's different from what the ICC says. I'd like to be able to figure out and see that just by visually looking at it.
Just separate the I guess, New Yorkisms that are required by statute. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yes, yeah. I don't know if it's highlighting. I don't think separate lists would work out well because then you got multiple documents to look at. But some way to just see.
We could come up with something like that.
There's some. I'm sure there's some way to do that. I don't know what that is, but that would make it a lot easier to understand. Like,
Yeah. So you're looking for the changes between the 2000 ICC 18. What would those 2000 or minus the regulatory, minus the statute requirements?
oh, yeah.
Okay, we keep losing you all. You keep going in and out, so we're having the audio problems again.
Can you hear me, or you should be able to hear Tim? Is that right? That's me.
We hear you, and we heard Tim, but we can't hear people at the far end of the table.
Okay, so I'll try to make this as simple as I can.
Yeah.
Using the same supplement that's there now, because that's what's published,
Yeah.
is there a way to put a parentheses, color code it, do something that you can see it's a change just because of this council's review versus it's a change because of regulatory requirement? And whichever one's got the bigger one, you leave it like that and only highlight the small one or something else. I don't know what it is, but I want to be able to see how much we're diverging from.
The current supplement. So some of the changes.
Speak loud, maybe.
You got me? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
So some of the changes in the supplement to the items that are required by statute, some of those changes are occurring not necessarily because statute has changed, just because we found a better way to comply with statute. Just so you're clear. So some of the items did change because statute changed, and other items changed because we found a better mousetrap is what it was.
Better language and better understanding.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
But it's still driven by regulatory change.
Yes.
Regulatory
So again, would
Yes.
you be looking for, I guess, a composite, a summary of everything that's required by statute versus everything that the council decides to do, to kind of separate them in that fashion, so you know maybe what your flexibility is, where the parameters are, versus what's more carved in stone?
Whatever is driven by statute, I guess, is probably the better way to say it, not exact language. So if there's the driver is a statute or regulatory requirement, that's one piece. And if we modify the language so everybody can understand it better, it's still driven by that regulatory provision. If it's something that is in the supplement currently or in the proposed supplement that's different from the 2018 I codes, I want to be able to identify what those are.
Okay.
Is that?
I think, yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what the deliverable was, but I believe I got you.
And that's just for clarity, so we can have comments from the public and from reviewing and understanding what we have in front of us the next 6 to 8 months or whatever it is.
Fair enough.
We could always float something past them.
Yeah,
between now and
that's
then,
what I
make
think
sure.
would probably be
Yeah.
the best way. We'll try and throw this together in the next couple of weeks and
Yep.
get it to them sooner. And then if it's not what Tim's looking for.
Hello?
Sorry, guys. You guys blinked for a second. You're all there. I still have Albany. I still have Buffalo and New York City.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, just froze me. If it's not what they're looking for, we'll go back to the drawing board. But we'll endeavor to get that out next couple of weeks. Are there any other comments, substantive discussions that we want to have now? Like I said, I know you guys have only had it in front of you for well, a couple of days, and you know. But these are issues. Most of these issues we've been dragging from sort of meeting to meeting at this point. Okay. Okay. Move on. Moving to agenda item number 4. Status of the 19 NYCRR 1229 diaper changing stations. Gerard, can I just give up?
Yeah, this, thank you. Yeah, we sent this along, and we just wanted to let you know that, you know, this had already been published in the Register September 5th. There's a public hearing that's going to be held on November 8th, and the public comment period ends on November 13th. And after that public comment period ends, we'll do a summary of the public comments. We've had maybe 3 or 4 public comments, mostly in support, some looking for clarification on a couple of items, but otherwise there doesn't seem to be any big backlash to this provision that we're looking at passing. And then if no significant revision is necessary, the council should be prepared to vote on adopting this rule at the December 5th meeting. Any questions?
Are there any questions or comments? Okay. Well, we're cruising right along. I'm going to meet Joe's request. Agenda item number 5, more restrictive local standards. This is the Town of Lenox, Local 103 of 2017. This was on the agenda last time. We pulled it for further review, and it's back for our action. I'm going to ask Nick just briefly to run through it. I know, no, we didn't run through it last time, so Nick, if you would run through it, give everyone a detail, and we'll go.
The Town of Lenox passed Local Law 3 of 2017 to reinstate certain fire resistance rating requirements that existed in the 2010 Residential Code of New York State. They submitted these requirements to the council 361 days after adoption, whereas executive law requires submission 30 days after enactment or adoption. The more restrictive standards pertain to the fire resistance rating of openings and the vertical and horizontal separation requirements between a dwelling and an attached garage. These fire resistance rating requirements are the exact same requirements that the towns of Ogden and Somers had enacted in previous petitions, which were denied by the co-council for lack of special conditions. The special conditions, as identified by the Town of Lenox, are as follows. The town is a bedroom community geographically located between 2 larger cities. A large portion of the town is located on the shores of Oneida Lake. This location is approximately 7 miles from the volunteer fire department. The town believes that this distance, coupled with the predominantly windy weather conditions on the lakefront, creates a greater potential for fire-related death and property loss. As with the Ogden petition, OFPC, using the New York State Fire Reporting System, determined that there were 18 occurrences of 1 or 2 family home structure fires in the town from 2011 through 2017. During this time, none of these fires originated in a garage. The standards for construction that are before you today are more restrictive than the standards in the Uniform Code. A determination needs to be made as to whether or not they are reasonably necessary due to special conditions prevailing within the town. Are there any questions?
Nick, when was let's get this out to, what was the date of adoption by the town and the date when it was received by the
The date of inaction was May 8th, 2017. It was enacted May, is that correct? Yeah, May 8th, 2017. And bear with me. It was submitted to the co-council on May 4th, 2018, about a year later.
61 days. And require. I just want to correct it. Any other questions, etc.? So, I mean, there's three different ways we can go here. We could approve it if we wanted to. We could deny it based on the fact that it's really late, although I don't love that action. They would just force them to appeal, repass, and resend. Or just deal with it as, and we can deny it. So, I mean, since I'm not hearing anything from the council, I think I'd take the position that we would deny it. Does anyone have any questions or comments before I have Joe read a potential motion to that effect?
I just have a question. What about other communities? Have we gotten any feedback for other communities that live on that are predominantly on a lakefront?
No, we have not.
No similar problems?
We haven't heard from any other lake communities, no.
Okay, thank you.
Questions, comments? Tim?
General comment, I think there's a number of municipalities submitted in on the same specific topic over the last year or more.
This is number 3.
It's certainly something I think we need to look at, and sort of drives to trying to maintain that same kind of a standard across the state, so you're not doing one thing in one area and another thing in a different spot. It's a little bit more difficult when we do it that way, so I think we'll let things lie from there. So I'd like us to look at that. I know that's on the agenda. So.
Paul?
Municipalities are enforcing.
Well, there's 1,450 say there's 2 of them. Yeah, so they opted in.
Thank you.
Okay. Joe, if you would read a potential motion to deny, and then we'll see how the chips fall. Yeah.
All right, this would be a potential motion, and if it strikes the fancy of the member adopted as on or about May 8th, 2017, the town of Lenox, the town, enacted local law number 3 of 2017, the local law, which amended section 47-5 by adding section 47-5B11 to the code of the town of Lenox, the town code. The local law was filed with the Department of State's State Records Unit pursuant to the Municipal Home Rule Law on May 31st, 2017. On or about May 4th, 2018, more than 30 days after the local law was enacted, the town supervisor submitted a copy of the local law and a petition relating to the local law to the Code Council pursuant to Executive Law Section 379. I move as follows. First, I move that the Code Council determine, pursuant to Executive Law Section 379-1, that the standards imposed by Section 47-5B11 of the Town Code, as added by the local law, are more stringent and more restrictive than the standards imposed by the New York State Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code, the Uniform Code. Second, I move that the Code Council find, pursuant to Executive Law Section 379-2, that there are no special conditions prevailing within the town that make the standards imposed by Section 47-5 Town Code, as added by the local law, reasonably necessary. And third, based on the foregoing determination and finding, I move that the Code Council deny the town's request that the Code Council adopt or approve the standards imposed by Section 47-5B11 of the Town Code as added by the local law. So moved.
Would any member like to make that motion? Sean?
So moved.
Sean and Dom both move. Would one of you like to second it, therefore?
Second.
Okay. It is made and seconded. Is there any discussion, comments, etc. on the motion itself? All right, hearing none. I'll ask Gerard to call the roll.
Okay.
Aye.
Paul Martin.
Aye.
Michael Weber. Vincent Rappaciulo.
Yes.
Keith Wen.
Yes.
Michael Sabatino.
Yes.
Sean Hamlin.
Yes.
Tim DeRuscher.
Yes.
Bill Tyne.
Yes.
Dominic Marinelli.
Yes.
Unanimous, 10 yes votes.
The motion is carries and the application is denied. I'll ask the division to let the town know of the decision. Thank you. I will. Council points out correctly that Michael Sabatino arrived. He actually arrived before the third note on our agenda, and he has voted on the list. Motion.
I believe we were in the middle of something, so I wrote down that he came in about 11:20.
Okay, moving on to Agenda 6, our public comment period. Before we get into any potential comments from anyone in the rooms, I will note that these were sent to the Code Council on Friday. We received an email from a Janice Conti regarding gas station fire suppression. We received a letter and report from Dominic Kazmauskas of the National Fire Sprinkler Association regarding residential sprinklers. And then this morning, we received an email on, I think it was 4 or 5 different issues from the New York State Builders Association from Mr. Lou Rebuke. Those all were at one point or another in your packets. Like I said, the first 2 on Friday, and I believe the last one was sent to your emails this morning.
Yeah, I sent it out to you this morning.
Gerard, do we have anyone listed to speak today?
We don't have anyone listed to speak.
Is there anybody who would like to speak to the council today? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on. We'll close up for the day. Agenda 7, future meetings. So our next meeting is December 5th, 2018. At that time, we will put together a schedule for tentative schedule for next year. I know it's almost not worth doing because we seem to change these meetings a lot due to quorum issues, but we'll still try to throw together something tentative. I expect that we will be discussing specific substantive issues at the December 5th meeting in anticipation of preparing a notice of proposed rulemaking for February. So we're in the home stretch here. You can tell that Gerard, Nick, Jeff, John haven't slept much, so it's going to be a busy couple of months. And I beg all of your help. Is there any other business to come before the Code Council today? Gerard, you make your normal announcement.
Yes, please sign up for any training credits that you need. We have the papers here, and I think there are some at the other venues.
Okay, thank you, Gerard. And again, I will beg the members of the council who are here and within the sound of my voice to please, as issues come up that are important to them, please discuss with the Codes Division, in anticipation for that meeting, because it helps us, plan for that, for the potential changes to the code. Thank you all for coming. I move that we stand adjourned. I'm not even. Do I do a voice vote? Okay. All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you all. Last time I did that, no one said aye. So. Thank you, New York. Thank you, Buffalo. They're already gone.